Hello, everybody. It is Friday, June the 12th? Huh? Why is that? It's not Sunday? But Wrestleview Weekly is always on Sunday. Well, not this time. Not this time, at least for this week, because we have a pay-per-view. Hello, everybody. This is Wrestleview Weekly. I am Doug Lackey, veteran columnist of Wrestleview.com and co-host of Wrestleview Live, alongside the effervescent editor-in-chief of Wrestleview.com, Mike Tedesco, where we cover all of the major WWE pay-per-views immediately following them, including this Sunday's Backlash pay-per-view. Sunday from the Performance Center. Yes. That's what we're going to be doing. So, yes, immediately following the pay-per-view, maybe 15 minutes or something like that, following the pay-per-view, join us here on the YouTube channel of the Wrestleviews, and we will be talking about the Backlash. No, that's racist. Backlash is what we're going to be talking about. Yes, that's what we're going to do. But before we do that, there's stuff we've got to do here on this show. It's going to be a relatively short show. Maybe a short show, just depends. There's some stuff we're going to talk about, and I'll get over the topics that we're going to talk about in a little bit. But first, I have to get through the pleasantries. If you're in the chat room now, you say wee. If you're not in the chat room, there's not a damn thing I can do about that. Who's in the chat room? I see my good bud Jamel. I see Mashoon. I see Andrew. I see Quentin. Who else is in there? I see Chad Cooper. Wee! No, short as Andrew's saying, short as the pay-per-view. No, short. This show might be a little short, not the usual 2-hour thing. Baba Strauss going, wee! Mediocre Lewis. No, Lewis is not mediocre. Lewis is in the chat room. I see Hayden in the chat room. Wee! Who else is in there? Come on, everybody. There's the effervescent one. Mike Tedesco is in there. I see Gills. Quentin, I know. Wee! He's in there too. I am so hyped up. Man, we got a full chat room today. I am so happy. Yes, this is going to be a good one. So, on the show today, we are only about a half hour past SmackDown that just finished airing on the Fox Network thing. So, we're going to talk about that a little bit. It's known that the greatest wrestling match ever is taking place at Backlash on Sunday, but I'll be damned if we did not see darn near close to it on tonight's SmackDown. So we're going to talk about that. Many people off the milk carton that we got to talk about on that as well. Major news headlines, a couple to talk about. Major shifts in WWE creative that we must talk about. Also, news on the injury front. Another injury for a superstar of the WWE who has been injured way too much for the past 2 years. And really showing fragility. And so we're going to talk about that. As always, the WWE Milk Carton. And finally, predictions for the Backlash. For the WWE Backlash, 7 matches are slated for the card. And of those matches, we'll get into that in a little bit. Yes, going to be a good show. Yes, Mashoon brings it up. Sources. As many of you should know when it comes to professional wrestling news sites, I question a lot of their sources, and I've learned not to question ours. I have paid the price for questioning ours at Wrestleview.com. But sources that usually other professional wrestling news sites have, they're very watered down, never confirmed, just based off of conjecture and innuendo and flat out horrible fantasy booking. But not us, especially not me, because my sources aren't watered down. I have the best sources. And today, my sources come from Old Hickory Brewery. Where are you at? Aren't you out of You're out of Hickory, North Carolina, aren't you? Yes, you are. You're out of Hickory, North Carolina, which is just down I-40 West. Yes, down I-40 West. About an hour away from me, about an hour north. And so today we are drinking Tropicana. Tropicana of IPA is what this is, and we've selected the juiciest combination of hop varietals for this tropical IPA, which each sip delivering notes of mango, passion fruit, and pineapple. Drink fresh and send your taste buds to paradise. Oh, I'm sure I will. Okay. Yes, this is the sources are a 7.0 ABV, and yes, that sounds very good. That sounds very delectable. So here they are. Here is Tropicana of IPA in the Chalice of Truth. Oh, okay. I don't know. Little bit of I'm tasting the passion fruit. Mango's like the pineapple I got. Light on the mango. It's more about the passion and the pineapple. Lewis, have I ever had IBC root beer? Absolutely, I've had IBC root beer. That's the best root beer. And everyone from the Midwest claims A&W, but when you come to the South, it's IBC. Yeah. So, pretty good. No, it's pretty good from Old Hickory, Tropicana of. Daniel in the chat room, Lackey after dark. Wee! So before we go into the show, last week, well, maybe a couple weeks ago, the effervescent Mike Tedesco's beautiful wife, Queen Victoria, the Queen of Wrestleview, Victoria, and co-host of the post-Raw recap for Wrestleview, was on the show and made predictions for NXT Takeover in your house because I did such a horrible job predicting Money in the Bank, going 4-4. Victoria made the predictions for in your house, and of the 5 matches, went 3-2. If I could see, what did we miss? She had Charlotte Flair retaining the NXT Women's title and Velveteen Dream as your new NXT champion. She was wrong on those 2. And because of that, the predictions that she made, every match was a lock. Doug, what does it mean when you have a locked pick and it goes wrong? What are you talking about? Well, like any other professional wrestling podcast or show, they always predict matches on pay-per-views. And no one ever goes 100 on their predictions, okay? They get them wrong. But their feet are never held to the fire. There's never a consequence. Much like when they air a news item, but it's actually just gossip or something they just pulled out of their own ass and reliable sources, or this was supposed to happen on the show. Well, they're never held accountable. Here, I hold myself accountable. Make predictions. Sometimes I'm very confident in them. And if I'm confident in my predictions, I lock them. If a prediction, or something that I say that I lock fails or is wrong, I hold my feet to the fire and I own up to the consequences. I own up to my poor choices. Victoria made some poor choices, but it's not her. Well, she got 2 matches wrong. What happens when a lock goes wrong? We take a shot of the Luna Azul Blanco tequila. This might empty it out. This might empty out this old bottle. I don't know when this bottle was bottled. We've had this one for a while. I've got a brand new one sitting over here. Have not cracked it open. So 2 picks went bad. Like saying, I mean, look what she married. She's known for poor choices. You said that, I didn't. I'm not allowed to say that. So yeah, that means 2 shots. That means a double shot of the Luna Azul Blanco tequila. All right, let's do this. Putting it in the Cleveland Indians shot glass that I got for my 40th birthday. Lewis, do you like any non-alcoholic beers? If you like non-alcoholic beer, that's awesome. It's all you. Okay? I will not fault you. Whatever you like, that's all you. It's awesome. Me, non-alcoholic beer to me is like decaffeinated coffee. There's no reason for its existence. None whatsoever. If you drink coffee because you like the taste of coffee and you like to drink beer because you like the taste of beer, more power to you. But no, that's not me. So, all right, double shot glass of the Cleveland Indian shot glass. Pour it in. Oh boy, it's gonna be a little tough. We aren't killing it. We are not killing it. Are we killing it? Oh, we killed it. We killed it. All right. That's awesome. We killed it. It's gone. No more. Well, there's a little bit. I brought this bottle out there and Deanna saw that little bit. She was like, you didn't use all of it. You wasted it. Well, it ain't coming out. So there you go. All right. It's gone. Yes, this sucker is gone. No more of that whole... I think we've had that bottle for about a year now. Well, here we go. Here's the brand new one. Brand new bottle. Sealed and everything. Hopefully we don't have to crack it open after Backlash. Okay. Oh. Mike asking, is this the kind that comes with the worm? No, No, I don't do that. This is cheap tequila. It's not Aristocrat, thank God. It's cheap tequila. Is what it is. Look, don't get me wrong. I like margaritas. Okay. I love margaritas. I just hate tequila straight up. Period. I just hate tequila straight up. And if I'm having a margarita, it's not going to be with a cheap tequila. It's going to be with like 1800 or Cuervo. You know. What are other good ones? Those are the ones that I know the most. 1800 silver is what I prefer for my margaritas. So, yeah. But here we go. Oh, boy. I hate doing this. I really hate doing this. Andrew saying I should try the Rocks tequila. I don't know how I get the Rocks tequila. I need to find out how I get that. I don't know if I can get that here in the state. I don't think it's in our ABC stores. I think I may have to drive to South Carolina to get it, if it's offered across the state line. I'm not sure. I got a feeling it's only in Florida that I'd be able to get it. Florida or California. I'm not sure. But here we go. Gills knows what to say. Everyone knows what the drill is here. What my line is, instead of saying cheers. So, here we go. All right. Damn it, Doug, stop procrastinating. All right, here we go. Put it up to the front. Put it up to the camera. Here's to me not knowing shit about professional wrestling. Fall and pray. Fall and pray. Oh, God. God, I'm glad that ball's gone. Ugh. God. All right. That's enough of that. Yeah, Mike. Wee! Yeah. All right. Ugh. Did I wish Adam Martin a happy birthday? I sure did. I sent him a YouTube video. It's usually the same YouTube video I send everybody. Gosh, I think I may just go ahead and just play the song in the background if anyone knows what I usually do. I usually send the happy birthday video from YouTube. I know I did it for Victoria for her birthday. I'm just going to play. It's not copyrighted. It's your birthday today.
destiny awaits with Sam's house with your closest mates.
All right, that's enough of that. Celebrate we will! Cut that cake! Oh, boy. Oh, God. Oh, that shot is hitting hard. Okay. God, don't lose track. Don't let this go off the rails. Okay. On to the show. It's time to talk about SmackDown again. I know that advertised for Sunday is apparently the greatest wrestling match ever between Randy Orton and Edge. Got a lot to talk about when it comes to that. But I'll be damned if what happened on SmackDown tonight was darn near close to it. We're going to start off the show. First off, when I was watching SmackDown today, I watched it live. First time in a very long time. And I decided to watch it muted. Because quite frankly, after doing the NXT Takeover in your house watch along last week, excuse me, and after doing the watch along last week, and you can only take maybe 4 minutes of Mauro Ranallo before you just can't take it anymore, and then you unmute it, and then you hear Beth Phoenix sounding incredibly contrived, and you give up again. I thought, you know what? I'm going to watch SmackDown muted. Not unless there's a segment, unless there's an interview segment, if there's something that I really have to pay attention to, then I'll go ahead and unmute it. So I've got SmackDown muted, and out comes Sheamus, and next to him is this guy in a long white lab coat. It's Doctor. I'm like, okay, it's Doctor. Then they've got these jokers, the security team, what looked to be in the distance hulking a black box at the top of the ramp. And they start going down the ramp. And they get into the ring, and I'm sitting there going like, okay, what's going on here? We got a doctor. What is in the doctor's hands? And then I'm saying, well, what is that box? What is that box? And then it kind of shows, we get an over-the-top view of it. It's not a box, it's an enclosure. Once I saw the enclosure, I was like, oh, it's going to be a piss test, isn't it? They're going to have Hardy come out here. There's a contract on the table. No one's signing anything until he has a piss test. Great. Fabulous. That's just great. The size of the canister. Because I'm sitting here. Look. I want to say if you've gone and had employment, you had to take a drug test, okay? They had to do a urine test. And so you're sitting there, and the size of the container that doctor is holding, I'm like, Jesus Christ, I was never given a container that big for a test. And so I was like, oh, okay, something's happening with the Mountain Dew. So, yep, sure enough, Jeff Hardy comes in. Says he's going to take the urine test because just get this over with. It means that he has to that's how he's got to get his hands on Sheamus. So be it. But then there's no lid on the large container of quote unquote urine. Yep. That's where we figured it was going. Yep. Sheamus, open mouth and all, taking in the yellow water. The looks on the security guards' faces behind him. CJ in the chat room going, wee! This whole angle has been very awkward. Okay? And, hey, Ebony, there is a show. This whole angle has been incredibly awkward. And I'm going to be perfectly honest. I'm not comfortable with it, but I can understand why they did it. Of course, if it's so horrible, Jeff Hardy didn't have to sign off on it. He could just quit, He didn't have to do this. But This is what we got. We got the usual Jeff Hardy is addicted to something angle. He's a junkie and he can't get over his demons. And oh yes, he's gotten over them. So yeah, but it's amazing that this angle between Sheamus and Hardy over Hardy's addictions served a dual purpose, and we'll get that, and I'll let you know about that when we get to the news involving injury, someone being written off due to injury. And so this angle has served dual purposes, which is kind of interesting, to tell you the truth, but it's a little awkward too. First match of the day, the New Day, Big E and Kofi. Yeah. Total agreement. Total agreement. You got a problem with it? So I don't know what to tell you. The two of them would wear black armbands, two of them by Big E, one by Kofi. I'm really sorry. I apologize, but I only know that one of the armbands was Brianna. For Brianna Taylor, I believe is her last name, for one victim. I'm not sure of the other two. I can't remember the names of the other two. But yeah. So Big E and Kofi. Yeah. They were not, I think, let's be honest, it's going to be a little bit until we see New Day back into their jovial selves, which I think will play into Backlash predictions. Well, no, that's not going to play into Backlash predictions because they don't have a match. But I'm going to say, I am not saying that. No, this is what I'm going to say. Do not be surprised if the New Day are not tag team champions here in the next 2 weeks. Not because of this. It's not because of this. They will not be champions because they're being punished in some way. I think that they should have time off and do a lot of community stuff for the WWE. Yeah, that's just mine. I think they should do a lot of community outreach. Xavier Woods has been doing that on his YouTube channel, Up, Up, Down, Down. It has been nothing short of emotional. His shows for the past week and a half. So this is really difficult. This is kind of difficult. I mean, not difficult in that what position you're supposed to take. No. Okay. Morals are not a problem here. Okay. It's just, it's really, really difficult to something so serious and something so life-changing and generational changing being put on a show like this, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Not meant for professional. No, I'm sorry. It isn't. No. I'm saying, that's all. Not because I don't think that it should happen. I'm just saying it's not. It's meant for the news. Okay? It's for serious television. This is not serious television. Okay? Sorry. Hope I'm not. If I'm stepping on toes or making people angry, well, Doug, they should be showing it. Well, it's my opinion, okay? It's what I think. That's all. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with them taking the knee, fist up. No problem with it at all. I agree with it. I agree with them completely. Black Lives Matter. Absolutely. But this is an entertainment show. That's all I'm trying to say. You know? It's like if an act did this on American Idol. You know, it's just not the place. That's all. Doing it on a cooking show. No, it's not the place. They can make the references, doing the armbands, and doing this perfectly fine. you know, and I think that's probably about as far as it'll go, you know. Yeah, but yes, Ebony, keep real life politics out of wrestling. How many times, like in the past 10 years, remember how Vince McMahon would try to shoehorn some kind of presidential thing into his wrestling show, dressing up someone like John McCain or Barack Obama or Hillary Clinton, you know? Tried doing that stuff? No. Kind of hope we learned the lesson. And so, yeah, just don't want it. But references, totally for. If they do this on every entrance, I got no problem with it. But if they are doing this, then do not expect any pancake tossing, any pelvic gyrations. Don't expect it. That's the thing. It's got to be one of the two. One of the two. They would square off against Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura. Oh, my God. Shinsuke Nakamura, he should be better than this. He should be going against Braun Strowman for the Universal title. Oh. He should be in the Intercontinental title tournament. He should have all the time. Oh, and don't get me started on Cesaro. Cesaro. Even Corey Graves says Cesaro should be champion. I've held ballpoint pens that have more charisma than both of them combined. They are as entertaining as particle board. No. Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro would end up pinning New Day. Which leads me again to believe that a title change is imminent. Yeah, a title change is imminent. Gil saying Cesaro and Nakamura will be fine once Zayn returns. I don't know if we're going to be seeing Sami Zayn for a while. You guys looked at Sami Zayn's Twitter feed? It's pretty vocal. Very politically vocal. I don't know. I don't know if we're going to see him. And I'm not saying he's politically vocal on a controversial side. He's just been vocal. A lot. So, I don't know if we're going to see him. And besides, he's trapped in Canada. Anyway. So, yeah. Here's one recurring theme that I'm going to be doing here. I'm going to let you... there's going to be a trivia coming up at the end of the show. Fun facts and figures to fill you guys in on when it comes to the performers of the show. Oh, yeah, by the way, no, I can't play that. No, I will not play that. I don't want to get in trouble by the Gestapo. Backstage! Guess who's backstage? Yes, there's a plate of hamburgers, and there's Mandy, and there's Otis. But they won't show who is next to them. This is important. Who's next to him? Because we're going to have a 6-man tag main event of inconsequential importance. It is the team of Braun Strowman, Money in the Bank winner Otis, and Tucker. Tucker. What? Tucker off the milk carton. We haven't seen Tucker since April the 10th. The post-WrestleMania episode of SmackDown where he faced off against Dolph Ziggler because Otis. So finally, Tucker off the milk carton. He overcame dysentery on the Oregon Trail to team up with Otis. Let me see. No, I still can't show it. Oh yeah, and while that's going on, Jeff Hardy and Sheamus are shoving each other around into things. Tucker is too good and has worked too hard to be a third wheel. Okay? I've got plans for Tucker now. I know fantasy booking wise, we were talking about how Tucker could, be the heel and Otis being the ultimate baby face, and, then Tucker would fade into obscurity. No. I've got a feeling that we are going to be seeing Otis as the oblivious heel. Mandy Rose being the mastermind behind Otis. Otis just loving that this hot blonde just loves him. And Tucker, at first, trying to help his friend. Hey, watch out for her. But then Mandy tells Tucker, hey, Otis is champion. That means we're on easy street. So, yeah. That's what I'm looking at. Yeah, Otis the whole time going, duh. Otis the whole time, just going, duh, girl, pretty. That's what he's doing. Duh, girl, pretty. Yeah. So, I see a lot of great things happening with this storyline of Otis, Mandy Rose, and Tucker. I just really hope that Tucker is incorporated into this a lot more than just being a third wheel. Because he's great, okay? He is a great hand. He's good. All right. AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan. This was the finals for the Intercontinental title tournament thing, since Sami Zayn had to relinquish the title because he's trapped in Canada. All right. We had a long vignette about the Intercontinental title and how important it is. Well, we better damn well have that since we hadn't seen the Intercontinental title on television in 2 months. Oh, look, there's the Tucker. Can't play that. All right. AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan, I believe, spanned 2 or 3 commercial breaks. This match was about 40 minutes long. 40 minutes long. If you take out the commercial breaks, if this were a pay-per-view match, this match would have been 20 minutes. About 20, 22 minutes. Did not expect anything different. Didn't expect anything different at all. Fantastic match. Showing the gif here, the belly to back from the top rope. I prefer matches like what these two had. Long, grinding slogs where you saw AJ Styles working on Daniel Bryan's leg, Daniel Bryan working on AJ Styles' arm. And the pace of it was so good. It didn't come out of the gates blazing. You didn't have the typical masturbatory mat work and then the dive to the outside only to come back inside, and then you start striking each other with the booze-yays a la New Japan, and then we get our big payoffs. None of that. None of those tropes. This was a fantastic match. Told a great, just told these guys just going after each other for this belt, and they kind of don't like each other either. Not for real major purposes of why they hate each other. There aren't any. The morals the moral quips that they have with each other is AJ wants the easy way out, where Daniel Bryan wants to have integrity on his side. But that was leading up to this match. This match showed almost 2 equals and was as close to a sporting contest as you could get within the WWE. Again, if Sunday is supposed to produce the greatest wrestling match ever, oh boy, they got a lot to work on. They got a lot to live up to. Because I'll be damned if this wasn't the greatest wrestling match ever. Well, not ever. We all have our definitions of what the greatest wrestling match ever is. I mean, I am not one to make that call. I don't know what the greatest wrestling match is. We all have different definitions of what professional wrestling is. And I know my definition of professional wrestling is vastly different from many other people's definition of professional wrestling. So, yeah. No, I'm not one to say what the greatest wrestling match is, ever. One of the greatest television matches I ever saw was Braun Strowman versus The Big Show. The first match. I think it was in February of 2018. Was Braun Strowman versus The Big Show. It was the main event on a throwaway episode of Monday Night Raw in February. That was one of the greatest matches I had ever seen. It told a fabulous story. Yeah. So, was it better than this? I'm not going to say. I can't say. This was a very good match. Greatest wrestling match ever? Well, I don't know, but the greatest wrestling match ever is coming up on Sunday, and if it doesn't look like this, then I don't know what the hell it is. AJ Styles would win the match cleanly. Clean. AJ Styles won the match clean, catching Daniel Bryan with his flying knee and reverse, turning it into a Styles clash and winning that way. So, yeah. Other matches that rank up there for greatest, well, no, it's not just match. It's not a wrestling match. I'm a big fan of Randy Orton, Mick Foley from Backlash 04, but that's not a wrestling match. That's just a garbage match. And that was a great garbage match. My favorite stipulation match, I think, was from Bad Blood. Actually, my favorite Hell in a Cell match is Kevin Nash versus Triple H with Mick Foley as the guest ref. Bad Blood 03? I think that was Bad Blood 03 or Bad Blood 02. It was Bad Blood. I think it was. Okay, so AJ Styles is your new Intercontinental Champion. There you go. Gonna be a celebration. Gonna be a celebration of Sasha Banks and Karen. Sasha Banks and Karen are showing off the hardware and the things. I so cannot wait until Jamel's right. Yeah, okay, it was Bad Blood 03. Yeah, that's right. All right. There's something that needs to be said right now. Okay? Asuka and Bayley have been knocking these performance center television shows out of the park. Okay? Karen is fantastic. I am waiting for the day when SmackDown is back in front of live audiences. And SmackDown right now needs a great female babyface. And that female babyface needs to call Bayley Karen. When that happens, it is going to stick. The crowd is going to go nuts. Okay? Far too often, crowds are incited to call someone something, but it just seems so ham-fisted, you know? Like with The Rock, what was it that he called Karen Bourbon? An STD? Strong, tough dude? Something like that? But I gotta tell you, the Karen, when Bayley comes out and people start chanting Karen, Karen, oh God, oh, it's on. And she can do it. She can yell at everyone at ringside. Remember when Bayley first swerved on us? When Bayley first swerved and she slashed the puppetry? We thought that was fabulous. That is the ultimate way to become a heel. And then after that, we were, she got her hair cut, and then after that, she didn't really do much for us. But now, with these performance center shows, yelling at everyone on the outside, having fun with Michael Cole, this is great. This is great stuff. Bayley being called Karen is the number one thing I'm looking forward to when we get back to live shows. There is no reason the WWE should not do this. There's no reason. She's got the hairstyle and everything. She looks like a Karen. My sister's name is Karen. She owns up to it. Okay? She's not offended by it at all. She posts crap online about Karens daily. She loves it. She's not like it at all. But she loves it. She thinks it's hilarious. To any woman who's offended by it, they're one themselves. Getting the Dyson in the chat room going, wee! So, I can't wait. When the first SmackDown with a live audience appears, I better hear some chants of people calling Bayley Karen. Gotta happen. It has gotta happen. Ugh. Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross would come out and interrupt, and then the Iconics would show up on the screen. They would interrupt, and then we get the schmaz and yada, yada, yada. There's your shot of the yellow water going in Sheamus's face. Let me see if I can get back over to the WWE on Fox, because they're the ones that do the SmackDowns and the thing. Your main event, 6-man tag. It's a Teddy Long special. It's involving 6 men, but not 4 men, but 6 men.
If all 4 of you want to mix it up, then we gonna do it right. I'm going to make this a tag team match.
Yep, that's what we got. Braun Strowman teaming up with Heavy Machinery. Tucker off the milk carton. Yes, those 3 teaming up against John Morrison, The Miz, and Dolph Ziggler. Why Dolph Ziggler? Because he was about to hit the milk carton in a week. So we got to find a reason to throw him in there. I got no pictures of it. Who the hell cares? The good guys won. And nothing else happened. Mandy Rose came out. They all celebrated. That's all you need to know. What did everyone think of the show? What did everyone think of the show? Let's go to the Wrestleview thing. What did you think of the show? I'm giving it a thumbs up just because, it was a decent show. 84.2% giving it a thumbs up. And that is pretty much par for the course because nobody watches SmackDown. Ugh. Yeah. So that's going to do it for SmackDown. Okay. News to talk about. Major news. Major news. There's some changes over with on the creative writing front, and it depends on how you write the headline, how interesting it actually is. Our headline reads as such. This was announced yesterday afternoon. Yesterday evening. No, it was afternoon. The WWE announces major change to creative team. Pritchard leads while Heyman is out. I saw numerous headlines saying Heyman fired. That's all it was. Just Heyman fired. What's amazing too is there was a lot of quipping that I would see between people bitching about who broke the story first. Doesn't matter who broke the story first. WWE put out a press release over the Twitter. It says in part, in an effort to streamline our creative writing process for television, we have consolidated both teams from Raw and SmackDown into one group led by Bruce Pritchard. Paul Heyman will concentrate on his role as an in-ring performer. Paul Heyman hasn't appeared on television since WrestleMania Night 2 on April the 5th. So he's going to concentrate on something he hasn't been doing for 2 months. Okay. But this should be no shock, okay? Because this falls within 1 year since Paul Heyman was asked to come in and be the head creative writer for Monday Night Raw. He was put in charge of the Raw brand in 2019 as the executive director. His responsibility was to oversee the creative development of the product and report to Vince McMahon. Bruce Pritchard, that same time, was brought into SmackDown to replace Eric Bischoff, who had only been there for a handful of months. He was not there for long. So, who's to say this wasn't contractual? Who's to say it maybe just the year came up and, but the decision was made. Here's Bruce Pritchard, now spearheading both Raw and SmackDown. SmackDown has been by far the more palatable show of the two. And I know the argument is that, well, SmackDown's only 2 hours and Raw's 3, and oh God, I can't sit through an episode of Raw. Totally get it. But take away from the time aspect of it. There's been way better writing and way better character development on SmackDown than there has been on Raw. You want to know what was happening on Raw for, like, say, I'm just going to throw a figure out here for you. Since the beginning of the year, what were your major programs on these two television shows? Over on SmackDown, out of nowhere, you had Goldberg coming in and becoming the Universal Champion, which was then supposed to bring in Roman Reigns. So you're going to have Roman Reigns versus Goldberg. You had the flourishing of the Bray Wyatt Fiend character, who in turn starts tormenting John Cena. You got that going on. Whole battle between the New Day and the Usos. Baron Corbin being the greatest heel in all of professional wrestling. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff going on SmackDown. Haven't even talked about the women. What was happening with the women? Everyone complaining about Bayley. Look at Bayley now. So, that right there is SmackDown. Monday Night Raw, I can tell you right now, this was Monday Night Raw. Brock Lesnar is your champion, and Seth Rollins shit. We had 5 to 6 weeks straight of Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, AOP, Murphy, Viking Raiders, Samoa Joe bullshit. 5 weeks straight of tag matches, 6-mans, 8-mans. Bullshit. You had Becky Lynch, who was floundering. Bad. Floundering. Bad. Oh, she went from the man to the meme. It was bad. It was really, really bad. And all this, we were trying to build up Drew McIntyre as a thing. Is Drew McIntyre a thing now? I'm not sure. We will never really know unless we're in front of a live audience, to tell you the truth. So, SmackDown has been the better written, better performed of all the shows. Is it because of the personnel and not just the writer? It could be. I think it has a big I think that has a big deal to do with it, or the personnel. And I'm not saying that the people on SmackDown are better performers than the people on Raw. It's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the people on SmackDown are more experienced. I said before we were talking about SmackDown, I had a very interesting statistic. when it comes to SmackDown. I tweeted it out while the show was going on, after the show ended. And thought I'd just go and bring this up to you, everyone in the chat room. Of the male performers on SmackDown tonight that performed in the ring, you had the tag match between New Day, Cesaro and versus Cesaro and Nakamura, AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan, 6-man tag Heavy Machinery and Braun Strowman versus Miz Morrison and Ziggler. 12 male performers. The average age of all of those performers, the average age of all the male performers that performed on SmackDown tonight, 37. 37 years of age. The average age of the male performer that was in the ring tonight on SmackDown. Of the 12 performers that were in the ring tonight, only 3 of them are under the age of 35. Only 3. Name them. Who were, of the 12 performers in the ring on SmackDown tonight, 3 of them are under the age of 35. Who are they? I'll let you guys type them in and kind of think about it and everything. I'm not going to say any winners. I'm just going to let them out. Okay. While I fill up the sources. Because I have the most reliable of sources, and the best sources are numbers. They are, you cannot question them. Talking male performers that were in the ring performing tonight. SmackDown. 3 of the 12. You had Big E. He's 34 years old. Tucker is 29. And Otis is 28 years old. Otis is 28 years old. Those are your 3 performers that are under the age of 35. Kofi Kingston, 38. Shinsuke Nakamura, 40. Cesaro, 39. Daniel Bryan, 39. AJ Styles, 43. Braun Strowman, 36. The Miz, 39. John Morrison, 40. Dolph Ziggler, 39. Guys, the reason SmackDown is a better show than Raw is because we've got some experienced people on SmackDown. And also, it is not as risk-taking. It's a very functional show. Functional is the best way to put it. Everyone's old, okay? Everyone is old on that show. Yeah, Nafisa Dot saying Austin Theory is the youngest one then on the main roster. I believe so. Austin Theory is 24? Or is he 23? He's 23 or 24 years old. This may be, and I'm going to have to really do some research on this. This is a project that I'm going to undertake for an episode. 22, Mashun says. 22 years old is Austin Theory. I need to try to do some comparisons of WWE main rosters, like say from 5 years ago, from 10 years ago. We've had these discussions before about how performers are reaching ages, and so you have to prepare for their exits. Shawn Michaels, Batista, Undertaker, Kane, Chris Jericho, Cena, Rock, Stone Cold. They're old. So you got to make sure you have talent take their place. Not to say that they're going to be as big of a talent, but you need the talent. They got plenty of talent, that's for darn sure, but it's easy to see who is going to be going. We got a lot of old people. The coming years, you're going to see some people say goodbye. I'm not talking the usual suspects. The usual suspects are gone. I haven't even brought up, like, Samoa Joe could be a commentator for the rest of his career and never have gone to WrestleMania. Sad. So, here we go. Thought I'd just bring up that little fun fact, but this is a project that I am undertaking. Is I really want to look at the differences in ages with past rosters that we've had and how rosters prepared, for those exits and entrances. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. New Japan has announced live matches for June the 15th. It's coming up next Monday. Next Monday. And the New Japan Cup has been announced. New Japan chairman Naoki Sugabayashi announced earlier on an online press conference that the company will begin holding events starting June the 15th. The first show is going to be a special called the Together Project, with a mystery card that will not be announced until the show airs on njpdubworld.com. This will be their first show since the February 26th, when the company shut down ops due to the pandemic of the spiky Nerf ball. The New Japan Cup, which was originally supposed to be held in March, will now be held June 16th to July the 10th. No fans will be in attendance for these events. Finals are to be held on July the 11th and then Dominion on the 12th. Both shows will see the return of fans in attendance at Osaka-jo Hall. Only a third of the hall's full capacity will be allowed. A July tour is scheduled for the Hokkaido region, but that was canceled. New Japan today laid out guidelines for wrestlers and fans for their return to 33% attendance in their arenas. According to the guidelines, wrestlers who will begin working on Monday, June the 15th, will have to do the following: take their temperature twice a day and log who they came into contact with, quarantine themselves immediately if they display spiky Nerf ball symptoms, minimize attendance at the venue, wear masks, log how long they were in the venue, as well as leave once their match is complete. Locker rooms will be zoned. Food will be labeled. Buffets will not take place. The ring and ringside area will be sanitized in between matches. It's a lot of stuff. Fans attending the show at Osaka-jo Hall, which will only be at 33% capacity, will have to wear masks at all times, avoid intentional physical contact, and they are not allowed to loudly cheer. Well, that's every wrestling event in Japan, right? They aren't supposed to cheer, right? Yeah. If any fans present symptoms of the spiky Nerf ball up to 2 weeks after the event, New Japan must be notified. So, yeah. Slowly but surely, events will be coming back. Whether they be with no capacity or 25% to 33% capacity. Slowly coming back. Whether I'm a fan of it or not, I'm not sure. I'm just glad that events are happening. That's all. Whether they have fans in it or not, it's fine. Just as long as we're getting live broadcasting back. That's all I really care about. Speaking of more wrestling with fans, it's returning to New Zealand since they have obliterated spiky Nerf ball. Southern Pro Wrestling announced on Instagram that they will hold back-to-back events on Friday and Saturday, August the 7th and 8th, with fans in attendance in New Zealand. Southern Rumble is scheduled to be held on the Friday show, with the winner getting an opportunity at their champion. According to a new report from the New York Times, New Zealand is now at a level 1 with no restrictions. New Zealand has seen no active spiky Nerf ball cases and no infections. Thus, officials declared that the strict clampdown on public life end. So, I guess New Zealand is who we watch for the wrestling, and South Korea is where we go to watch the baseball. No, I haven't watched any Korean baseball, but I have seen they've got stuffed animals in the stands. Yes! Korean baseball has found ways to try to put people in the stands to make it look like they're stuffed animals. Great. I love it. Freaking love it. I can't stay up late enough to watch Korean baseball. And I'm up early in the morning. I'm drinking my coffee and having my breakfast of champions of coffee and cigarettes outside. I'm not watching baseball. No, I'm not watching baseball. News on the injury front. Remember when I talked about the framing Jeff Hardy for drunk driving angle with Sheamus, and they hit Elias in the parking lot, how it served a dual purpose? Well, here you go. As reported earlier this week, Elias is out of action with a torn pectoral muscle and slated to be out for months, according to a report by Dave Meltzer of F4Dub Online, because he knows everything and you know nothing. Elias has been sidelined with a torn pec. The storyline took place on the May 29th edition of SmackDown when he got hit by a car. Elias was supposed to face AJ Styles in the semifinals, but that's when the injury interfered with the plans. I think this is either the second or third injury that Elias has sustained in 2 or 3 years. This guy, I don't know. The reason people become injury prone, concussions is one thing. But torn muscles, hyperextensions, stuff like that, it's a sign you're not training. You're not practicing. Third injury in 2 years, says CJ. I believe that. This is not good. Maybe a great character, but damn it, he's not training, not practicing. That's why you get hurt. That's why you have injuries. That's why you have injuries. So he joins a list of people that are hurt. What is that hurt list? Razar with a torn bicep. He's going to be out until SummerSlam times. Becky Lynch has a tiny human inside her tum-tum. She's not going to be back until about WrestleMania times next year. Jinder Mahal, cleanup surgery on a previously injured knee that was due to ruptured patella. Cleanup surgery on that same knee. He's not going to be back until October. Lars Sullivan, jacked up knee, has been jacked up. He hasn't been on television for 14 months. 15 months. He's been out for longer than a year. You ain't going to see him on TV for a while. And there's nothing the WWE can do about it. Nothing. Xavier Woods and Ember Moon tore Achilles tendons. We have them pretty well. They won't be back until SummerSlam times. Jimmy Uso, cleanup surgery on a right knee. He's not going to be back until Survivor Series times. Elias with the torn pec, slated to be 6 to 9 months is what this is with a torn pec. He might be done in time for WrestleMania. Boa, torn rotator cuff and labrum. He won't be back until SummerSlam times. You've seen him in the crowd for these shows at the Performance Center alongside Jessamine Duke, who had cleanup surgery on her elbows. She will be ready around SummerSlam times. Those are the people that are hurt. What about the people who aren't hurt? What about the people who are perfectly healthy? What about the people who haven't been on TV for, say, 3 weeks? WWE mainstream television or pay-per-view. 3 weeks. They end up on a very special list. A special list that is now 36 performers deep. And we got a couple, there's some new additions to the Milk Carton. Yeah, Doug, you said the words, but you weren't so enthusiastic. Yeah, I know, I didn't do it right. We're on a weird day. I'm used to doing this on Sunday. It's Friday. Okay, this is how I'm supposed to do it. It's the WWE Milk Carton. I'm feeling like a badass because a badass is on my back. Bet you can't guess who it is. Let's start things off with a regular on the WWE Milk Carton. Move my database here real quick so you guys know how long it's been and what he was doing. Akira Tozawa, we haven't seen him since the May 20th episode of NXT, where he squared off against El Hijo del Fantasma to qualify for the finals of the Little Critter Interim Championship thingy. Yeah, I think this is the 4th or 5th time he's been on the Milk Carton. Taking some time off, maybe? He's been everywhere. He's been on Raw and SmackDown. Yeah, he was on Raw taking powders, but doing great in the Little Critter tournament. Go fig. Wooby Wyatt. Haven't seen her since the May 18th edition of Monday Night Raw, where she faced off against Charlotte Flair to show that Charlotte Flair is a thing. Didn't know we had to prove that Charlotte Flair was a thing, but that's what we had to do. So that's what they did. Charlotte Flair is a thing. And Wooby Wyatt hasn't been a thing for 3 weeks and potentially more. Well, hello there. Shayna Baszler. We haven't seen her since that same episode of Monday Night Raw where she was in a submissions match or a match of some kind against Natalya. This May 18th episode of Monday Night Raw, by the way, was the same episode that Becky Lynch announced that she had a tiny human in her tum-tum. This is actually the second time that Shayna Baszler has appeared on the WWE Milk Carton. However, the first time she appeared did not last long because she was going to show up on pay-per-view. This is a different story. What are we doing with Shayna Baszler? I'm open for suggestions. Yawning. I'm open for suggestions. Monday Night Raw is in disarray with the women's roster right now. They are in complete disarray. We have no idea what's happening on Raw. None. And we have Asuka to blame for that, because I don't know what the hell Asuka is. Is she a face? Is she a heel? I don't know. Is Charlotte Flair now back on Raw? I guess she is, but now we're doing Asuka Charlotte. I don't know what's happening on Raw. Naomi. Haven't seen her since the May 15th episode of SmackDown, where she faced off against Dana Brooke, who is also on the Milk Carton. What are we doing with these two? Apparently they had a shitty match. Someone was supposed to be pushing someone else, and both of them sucked. What are we doing? Bianca Belair. Haven't seen her since the May 11th episode of Monday Night Raw. Actually, I'm sorry, May the 18th. No, May the 11th was when Becky Lynch announced that she had a tiny human in her tum-tum, because Bianca Belair congratulated her backstage. Yeah, That's the last thing she did. Since then, she's been knitting, sewing, different attires for wrestlers, especially her hubby, Montez Ford. What is going on Monday Night Raw? Someone figure this out. Why do we have 5 women on this milk carton that haven't been seen in at least 3 weeks? Why? This makes no sense. Thank God Pritchard is taking over. You want to talk about waste of talents? And I want you to bear in mind of how many people I am going to be mentioning that are from Monday Night Raw. Of course, there's going to be tons from NXT. Cedric Alexander. We haven't seen him since that episode on May 11th for Monday Night Raw, where he teamed up with Ricochet to square off against some guy with the last name Vink and Shane Thorne. That match on May the 11th produced no one to be shown on television for a month. Why? Why did you have this match in the first place? The Fiend Bray Wyatt. Haven't seen him since Money in the Bank on May the 10th, where he lost this match against Braun Strowman. This is fine. His wife JoJo gave birth to their second child. He's enjoying family life, taking some time off. He's going to show up at Backlash. It's a given, right? Tamina. Haven't seen her since Money in the Bank on May the 10th, where she squared off against Karen for the SmackDown Women's title and failed. If you haven't been on the Twitter, Tamina's Twitter handle put out a brand new vignette for a potentially brand new character, a repackaging of Tamina. Be interesting to see. I'm not sure. I could show it here, but I'm too busy. I'm too deep into the milk carton. I don't know if a repackaging would help Tamina. I don't know. I mean, a repackaging means that she's good at talking. I didn't know that she really talked that much. Carmella. Haven't seen her since that May 10th episode of SmackDown. What did she do? No, I'm sorry. May 10th was Money in the Bank. She was in the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. What has she been doing? I don't know. Hanging out with Corey Graves at his house? I don't know. She's not very into being on television right now. In fact, I don't think she's actually been doing a whole lot on television or on SmackDown, for that matter, for the past 9 months. Not since she had a mental breakdown of some kind. I don't know. What's going on? Who knows? Double D, Dominic Dijakovic. Haven't seen him since the May 6th episode of NXT, where he squared off against Johnny Gargano to confirm that Johnny Gargano was a no-good, low-down heel. Rumors spreading around that Double D is going to Monday Night Raw. We don't know. All that we do know is he hasn't been on TV for a month. Xia Li, haven't seen her since that same May 6th episode of NXT, where she squared off against, who's the person? Chelsea Green. Aaliyah would come down to interfere, Robert Stone, and all of that stuff. This would all confirm that Chelsea Green and Robert Stone were something to pay attention to. Good job, Xia Li. You succeeded. Haven't seen you since. Shelton Benjamin, haven't seen him since the May 4th episode of Monday Night Raw, where they were having a gauntlet match to figure out who would have the last slot in the Money in the Bank ladder match. He was there, and he would get destroyed by Bobby Lashley. Another guy was there that got destroyed by Bobby Lashley, but that's Titus O'Neil. And we cannot fault Titus O'Neil. He is too busy making the city of Tampa, Florida, the greatest city on the planet. So, he's too busy healing the sick, feeding the hungry, doing other things for other people that are worse off than him. This man is a treasure. Titus O'Neil, 2020. Big Show. Haven't seen him since the April 6th episode of Monday Night Raw. This was the post-WrestleMania episode of Monday Night Raw, where they aired a dark match following Drew McIntyre's win over Bork Laser at WrestleMania, where he squared off against the Big Show. Big Show has not been on TV. He's been trying to keep the weight down, working out a lot, and promoting his sitcom on Netflix, The Big Show. Bork Laser. Haven't seen him since WrestleMania Night 2, where he lost his WWE title to Drew McIntyre. We are not going to see Bork Laser until there's a live audience. Sami Zayn with a brand new profile pic in all. Haven't seen him since night 1 of WrestleMania on April the 4th. Successfully defended his Intercontinental title against Daniel Bryan. He had to relinquish the Intercontinental title because he's trapped in Canada and he's got a big mouth on the Twitter. Killian Dane and his receding hairline has not been seen since March the 25th episode of NXT, where he squared off against some guy named Tahuti Miles. He's on 205 Live. The reason for it was to prove that Killian Dane is a thing. Well, apparently Killian Dane isn't a thing because he's approaching 3 months since being on television. Riddick Moss, haven't seen him since the March 23rd episode of Monday Night Raw, where he was jogging down a suburban neighborhood, and then he was pinned by R-Truth, losing his 24/7 title. We haven't seen him since then. Apparently, he's been locked out of his home. Someone find him. Give him his keys. Let him into his home so he can put on a shirt. Roman Reigns. Burden, 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 burden. Roman Reigns, haven't seen him since the March 20th episode of SmackDown, where he signed the contract for the WWE Universal title against Goldberg. That match never happened because of spiking Nerf ball. Roman Reigns wanted to care for his children. No, I mean he had leukemia. He wanted to care for his children, much as how Mr. Wyatt wants to care for his children. Grizzled young veterans James Drake and Zach Gibson. Haven't seen them since the March 11th episode of NXT, where they blindsided Pete Dunne and Matt Riddle after they successfully defended their NXT tag team titles against Undisputed Era. For 4 weeks before March the 11th, we were giving them jobbers, we were letting them talk, having them say how great a team they were and how awesome they were. But now they're back in England, and we haven't seen them on TV for 3 months. Great job building these guys. AOP, even though Razar is injured, I'm counting them both. We haven't seen them since the March 9th episode of Monday Night Raw, where they took part in one of 6 Teddy Long specials that spanned 5 or 6 weeks. Take your pick of who was in it. Murphy, Seth Rollins, Samoa Joe, Kevin Owens, the Viking Raiders. Take your pick. Who the hell knows? That's a brand new profile pic for Razar in that, by the way. Who the hell knows? I miss these guys. They're so good. They were so good to me. They made me feel so good. Robert Roode. Haven't seen him since Elimination Chamber on March the 8th, where he was in the Tag Team Elimination Chamber match thingy for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. He is stranded in Canada. Marina Shafir. Haven't seen her since the March 4th episode of NXT, where she shoved a stick through a hole to her husband Roderick Strong in order to beat Velveteen Dream with it. That did not work out too well. Mansoor. Haven't seen him since the February 27th Super Showdown. Or is it Crown Royal? No, it's Crown Jewel. Crown Royal. Those are sources I've got to try. It was Super Showdown on February the 27th out of Jeddah or Riyadh or Bismarck, South Dakota, where he faced Dolph Ziggler. What he did. But it just further proves the theory that Mansoor only performs in South Dakota. Kona Reeves, brand new profile pic and all. Haven't seen him since the February 19th episode of NXT, where he took a powder to Keith Lee in 25 seconds. Mercedes Martinez, haven't seen her since the February 5th episode of NXT, where she faced off against Casey Catanzaro, who, by the way, is off the milk carton after appearing on NXT earlier this week, along with Caden Carter. Caden Carter, off the milk carton. Mercedes Martinez had a match with Casey Catanzaro on February the 5th to prove that, to beat up Casey Catanzaro and show that Mercedes Martinez is a thing. Apparently, she's not a thing. She hasn't been on TV in 4 months. Vanessa Bourne, haven't seen her since January 15th episode of NXT, where she took part in a big battle royale thingy of the vagina persuasion to figure out who was going to be the number one contender for the NXT women's title, who was held by Rhea Ripley at the time. But then that goes down, and it was Bianca Belair who won it. So, yeah. Who's Vanessa Bourne? I don't know, but it's been nearly 5 months since she's been on TV. Oh, God. Dry throat. All right, you kids ready to dip into 2019? Mustafa Ali, haven't seen him since December the 27th of last year on an episode of SmackDown where he was saying inspirational shit. What's he doing? Well, he just had a interview, I can't remember, with, I think it was at ESPN or Sports Illustrated. It was posted on Twitter today about his 4 years of being a policeman in Chicago. And with all the tumult that's going on right now, yes, that's what he's talking about. And that's fine. But what about all this stuff about the truth's going to be heard? And a guy that's watching TV like I do. I thought that's what this guy was going to be. I don't know. Bo Dallas. Haven't seen him since the November 15th episode of SmackDown, where him, the newly re-signed to the WWE Drew Gulak, and the recently released from the WWE Curtis Axel, those three were in the ring making fun of Braun Strowman going into Survivor Series. Why? I don't know. Bo Dallas could be the hacker. Andrew brings it up. He could be. I don't know. All I know is the hacker himself hasn't been on TV for 3 weeks, and I should have him on the milk carton, but the hacker is not on the main roster. And finally, the stalwart of the WWE Milk Carton, the final one, after 36. We are, again, very close to 3 months away from this guy not appearing on WWE television or pay-per-view for a whole calendar year. Only the Colognes have achieved that feat. Primo and Epico Cologne. They are the only ones. This guy could be close to it. Not sure. But I got a feeling he might be released before it happens. Who? Arturo Ruas. Who? I know that's what you're asking. Who? I'm just saying the name. It's not like he's someone important. That's just who it is. He's on the main roster. Arturo Ruas. We haven't seen him since September 18th of last year. The debut episode of NXT on the USA Network squared off against Pete Dunne to show that Pete Dunne was a thing. Pete Dunne is a thing. He did his job, but we haven't seen him for 9 months. Jama in the chat room going, wee! Vintage NXT is Arturo Ruas. And that's the WWE Milk Carton. Who is slated to show up on the milk carton here? Oh, we got some fan favorites here. Oh, God, we got a whole slate. I'm looking at another 10 or 11 that could be showing up on the Milk Carton. And it has absolutely nothing to do with the pay-per-view. Well, actually, hold on. I need to change Elias. He is now injured. So I got to change that. And we know Matt Riddle is going to be making his SmackDown debut next week, so he is narrowly avoiding the Milk Carton. Names that are going to be showing up. Let's see. More women from Raw are going to be showing up. And some old fan favorites that used to be on NXT are going to be showing up on the Milk Carton. Probably because of stupid shit that they said on the Twitter. We'll talk about it when it happens. But anyway, that's the WWE Milk Carton. Arturo Ruas, just find a way to do something meaningful. I don't know. He could be on NXT UK for all I know. I don't know. All right. It's enough of the Milk Carton. Finally, we get to the part of the show that I'm afraid of the most. It's time to predict the WWE Backlash pay-per-view. After I took 2 shots of tequila, I had my sources for the mistakes that were made for NXT Takeover in your house. As Scarlett would lip sync for Karrion Kross, fallen prey. WWE Backlash. 7 matches on the card for Sunday's pay-per-view. Immediately following the pay-per-view, the effervescent editor-in-chief Mike Tedesco and myself will be here to review said program. Hopefully it'll be as short as the NXT Takeover pay-per-view was. That was started at 7 o'clock and it ended at 9:30. God, that was fantastic. But that's not happening. This is 7 matches of WWE. This is going to go on till 10 o'clock. What's going to happen? Tapping loose is tapping out. Going to watch Westworld. Okie dokie wee. All right. 7 matches. I think we're going to do 4 locks is what we're going to do. Doug, what's a lock pick? Well, if I make a prediction and I'm confident enough that it's going to go down, I lock the pick. If I'm wrong, I take a shot of the Luna Azul Blanco tequila. I've taken 2 of these tonight because I sucked. And in your house, NXT Takeover in your house, those were picks that were done by Victoria, Mike Tedesco's wife, who did a better job than I did at Money in the Bank, where I went 4-4. 7 matches, 4 locks is what we're going to do. All right. I'm pretty confident in these. I'm very confident in these. Jama saying, hell yeah, it's train wreck time. No, you're right. This is where it becomes a train wreck, okay? Because I've taken my medicine from my past discretions, and now I've got to make even more horrible choices. All right, let's do this. 7 matches, 4 locks. Here we go. Apollo Crews defending the WWE United States title against Andrade with, I think that's Zelina Vega. Holy God, what kind of picture is that for Zelina Vega? All right. What are we doing here? What are our plans here? Is Apollo Crews just going to go through the gamut of Zelina Vega's troupe and then after that go through Seth Rollins' troupe? Think so. I can't see them putting it back on Andrade. It's time for Andrade to do something else. I can't see. I just can't have the title change happen. But I can't lock this. That's the other thing. Gills, if Apollo was a Heyman guy, Andrade could win the title back. Nah, I don't know. Garza interferes, costing Andrade. That's a good see, Andrew. Yeah. I'm seeing something happening between Andrade and Angel Garza. Angel Garza. No, I'm going to take Apollo in this one. I'll go with Apollo. No lock. I'm not locking. There are safer locks that I can take. There are way safer locks I can take. Triple threat for the tag team titles of the Vagina Persuasion. Karen and Sasha Banks are defending their titles against Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. Really fun tag team. And the greatest tag team known to mankind, the Iconics. There was a time when the Iconics had not been on television since last November. They have been on television for the past 5 weeks straight. Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, they're fine. They'll stay as a tag team. They can go after the Iconics. They can do all kinds of stuff. Yeah. Right now, it's just, I think it's just great finally that the Iconics are back on TV. It's great that they're back on TV. I've missed them so much. God, just the sound of her beautiful voice.
Hey, Kayla!
Just the sound, it's so majestic, so melodic. It's like angels weeping.
You gotta be joking me!
Billy Kay, never change. I will take one for the team. I will take one for the team. I want this. I deserve to get burned by it. Okay? It's my heart telling me to make this choice. My brain doesn't know what the hell to do. Brain tells me that I should stick with Karen and Sasha. But, God damn it, I want the Iconics. I want them to win so badly. Because if they did not win these, then there would be no point for them to be on TV. I know Michun is telling me to lock Karen and Sasha. CJ's telling me to lock Karen and Sasha. God, Gills is telling me to lock Iconics. I want to lock Iconics. Reason I want to lock Iconics is because if they don't have the titles, there's no point for them to be on television. They'll be released. Plain and simple. I will take a shot for the Iconics. I will take a shot for the Iconics. I got no problem with that.
Did you study that question? Hey? You go to journalism for that?
I sure as hell did. I took classes on that. I will do this. No problem. Iconics, lock it. I will take it. I have no problem taking a shot for the Iconics. None whatsoever. Look, when Victoria made predictions on my show once, she made an outrageous prediction involving The Miz winning something, and she locked it, and I had to take a shot because of it. Okay? It's my turn. It's my turn to shine. My turn to have my fun and take the consequences. I want the Iconics, and I'm going to lock it. Jeff Hardy, whatever the fuck that's supposed to be, versus Sheamus. All right. Jeff Hardy versus Sheamus. I so don't care about this match. Both of these guys are going to be retiring very, very soon. Sheamus with the prognosis of a spinal stenosis. That's been going on for the past year and a half, 2 years. There was a point to where Sheamus had not been on TV for 7 or 8 months. So it's not looking too good for him. Jeff Hardy is right now on the final leg of his contract, which will be ending around WrestleMania times. That he was supposed to be out of his contract the same time Matt Hardy was, but Jeff Hardy got injured, and so he's now on the injury time. So, don't care about this match. It's merely just for the number. I don't like it, but Jeff Hardy. I'm taking Jeff Hardy. As much as I hate doing that. I'm not locking it. He doesn't deserve a lock. The Iconics deserve a lock. 4 matches to go, 3 locks. Oh boy. Okay. All right. 4 matches to go, 3 locks. All right, let's do this. Asuka defending the Raw Women's title against Nia Jax. God damn it. What does Raw need right now when it comes to the women's roster? Well, first off, women got to show up on Monday Night Raw. Number 1. I want to troll so bad and pick Nia Jax. Everyone is hating Nia Jax because she has injured everyone's favorite waifu, Kairi Sane, for the past 3 weeks. Fucking love it. I love it. I want to take Nia Jax. It makes sense, though. Raw is in shambles when it comes to the women's roster. Okay? I don't know what Asuka is right now. Don't know if she's a babyface or a heel. Charlotte Flair, what the frick is she? I don't know. She's been on every single show. I guess she's the pompous heel, but what is she doing? Don't know. She had a match with Asuka. Yes, Acer, this is the troll lock. I want the internet to implode. I want Nia Jax. I want Nia Jax. Am I locking this? I got no problem taking a shot for the Iconics. Taking a shot for Nia Jax, though? Taking a shot for everyone being angry that their waifus are being destroyed? Seriously. Used to call Nia Jax a face breaker. I'm calling her the waifu destroyer. Kairi Sane down, and now Asuka. No, not Asuka. Asuka's not going down. Yes! That's what Nia Jax is. I'm waiting for Nia Jax to infiltrate my copy of Persona 5 and destroy every waifu. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. People getting angry because their waifu is getting hurt. I don't care anymore. I just convinced myself of it. I'm over the edge. Nia Jax, lock it. Don't care. I will take a shot for that. I will take a shot to troll the internet. It has nothing to do with Nia Jax. All right, I'm for sure taking 2 shots now. I'm not locking Asuka. Fuck that. I'm not locking Asuka. I ain't locking Asuka for shit. She's going to win anyway. The waifu destroyer, Nia Jax. Braun Strowman defending the WWE Universal title in a handicap match versus The Miz and Morrison. Bray Wyatt will make an appearance in this match. Braun Strowman wins. Lock. Braun Strowman wins. Lock it. That's simple. I knew that was going to happen. Drew McIntyre defending the WWE title against Bob Lashley. Bobby Lashley, Bob Lashley, Robert Lashley. Whopper Dome, Bobby Lashley. With MVP in tow, probably. Andrew saying Bobby wins? No. CJ saying Bob? Saying Bob's gonna win? By DQ. Oh. Bob doesn't win by DQ because that means Drew is hitting him with a chair. No, that's not happening. No. No, I see Drew winning by DQ. See Drew McIntyre winning by DQ. Drew's winning, period. Drew attains because of Lana at ringside? Yeah. MVP attacking Bobby? Nah, I don't see that. Lana could attack Bobby. Oh, boy. Here's the problem. I'm either locking this or the greatest wrestling match ever. I feel a lot more comfortable locking this than the greatest wrestling match ever. Why is Bob getting a title shot? Well, I don't know. You dare going to question that right now in the climate that we're in? I'm not going to question that. Yes, Bobby Lashley has a title match. I don't know. All right, here's what I'm going to do. All right, first off, I can't see this carrying any further. I cannot see this carrying any further. I'm picking Drew. Drew's going to win. So here's how we're going to do this. I don't know if I want to lock this or not. So here's how we're going to do it. No, I want the D20. No, fuck that. Where's my D20? I need a D20. I don't play Dungeons and Dragons. There it is. There we go. All right, D20. You guys can see that, right? Yeah. Okay. D20. All right, here's how we're going to do this. Odds, I lock it. Evens, I don't lock it. So I'm really not sure. Odds, I lock it. If not, then that means that I must lock the supposed, even after tonight's Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles match, the greatest wrestling match ever. You're going to hear it on the microphone, I hope. Odds, I'm locking it. Evens, I'm not. Came up as an 8. I am not locking this match. It's the greatest wrestling match ever. Does it involve Bret Hart? No. Does it involve Bob Backlund? No. Does it involve anyone else who packed seats in any arena that was a main eventer for the past 40 years? No. Hulk Hogan, John Cena, The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Shawn Michaels? No. None of them. This is the supposedly. Because if there's any other time during the year that you would want to see the greatest wrestling match ever, it wouldn't be at SummerSlam. It wouldn't be at Survivor Series. WrestleMania? Are you fucking kidding me? At WrestleMania? No. Royal Rumble? No, we don't really care about that. We got the Royal Rumble to worry about. So, if there is ever a time during a period of the year that you would think the greatest wrestling match ever would take place, you would say to yourself, yes, June. Smack dab in the middle of the year. No one gives a shit about wrestling, as if anyone cares about wrestling throughout the entire year. But still, I gotta lock this. How long are we carrying this out? What are our plans? Are we going to see Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre? Or are we seeing Edge versus Drew McIntyre? I see Edge with the WWE title more than I see Randy Orton. When do we want those matches? Would we want them as a triple threat? The way that I'm looking at this is I'm trying to incorporate Drew McIntyre past this match. What are we doing after this match is my thing, okay? I'm playing chess here. I'm not just going to, Randy Orton's he's the younger of the two, and he could have the better match. I can see him doing way more things than Edge, but Edge has greatness. No, that has nothing to do with this. I'm playing chess here, okay? What am I doing after this match? It involves Drew McIntyre and the WWE title. A triple threat's going to happen involving Drew McIntyre and these two jokers. Oh, I picked Drew to win, but I didn't lock it. Second guessing myself. It's already been done. No, can't go back. This is the final match of the card. I can't go back. Gotta lock this. Edge won at WrestleMania. It is by law that Randy Orton should win. Will there be interference? Sure. I could see interference. Christian? I definitely see this not being a wrestling match at all. I definitely see this just evolving into a brawl. Seriously. That's what I'm saying. Orton. Taking Orton, blocking it. Because later down the line, I see this feeding into Drew McIntyre for a triple threat. I see this going into a triple threat. Yeah. I don't like what came out from this. God damn it. This doesn't look good. But again, if I go undefeated, I'm the smartest man alive. Here we go. Running down the picks for Sunday's Backlash pay-per-view. Here we go. Apollo Crews will successfully defend his U.S. title against Andrade with whatever Zelina Vega is in tow. Triple threat tag team match for the vagina titles of the tag teams type, I've got the Iconics winning back the women's tag team titles and locking it. Jeff Hardy versus Sheamus. I've got Jeff Hardy defeating Sheamus. Asuka versus Nia Jax for the Raw Women's title. I have Nia Jax defeating Asuka to become the Raw Women's Champion. Locking it. Braun Strowman defending the WWE Universal title again in a handicap match versus The Miz and John Morrison. I'm taking Braun Strowman and I'm locking that. I'm anticipating Bray Wyatt to show up at some point. Drew McIntyre defending the WWE title against Bob Lashley. I am taking Drew McIntyre to successfully defend, finally, in the greatest wrestling match ever. Doesn't have Bret Hart. It doesn't have Shawn Michaels or Stone Cold or Rock or Hulk Hogan or Macho Man or Ric Flair or Ricky Steamboat or Bobby Fulton or... Yeah, I said Bobby Fulton. Bobby Fulton's put on some way better matches than these two jokers have. The greatest wrestling match ever. Taking Randy Orton. I'm locking against my own will. What can I say? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, if I go undefeated, if I go undefeated,
The product of a superior education.
yeah, sure. Nia Jax, waifu destroyer. That needs to be a shirt. That needs to be a freaking shirt. Someone make that right now. Nia Jax, waifu destroyer. Thank you all so much for stopping by to this train wreck of a show. I think this is what we're going to do from now on. When there is a WWE pay-per-view on Sunday, Wrestleview Weekly will be on the Friday before it, so that we have the entire card, make our predictions, see what we can do. Hey, Andrew's saying, if we go undefeated, we party. Hey, man, we go undefeated. That doesn't, just because there ain't no tequila, it means that it's a sober show. We break out the scotch. We celebrate when we go undefeated. So, all right. Bashoon, wee, Andrew, wee. Everyone, thank you so much for stopping by. Keep your eyes peeled. We might have an episode of Wrestleview News tomorrow. I'm not sure. Hosted by the effervescent one, Mike Tedesco, and the intrepid one, Jerome Willen. But what is definitely happening is Sunday, following Backlash, following that pay-per-view, join me and the effervescent one, Mikey Tedesco, as we cover the paper, talk about the things, and how horrible I am and making choices in my life. Thank you all so much. Stay safe. Don't be stupid. Don't be an asshole. Black Lives Matter. Period. No argument. I am not going to argue about it. Stay safe, guys. I have no right to raise a fist. As always, know when you're being sold to.